Hi everyone, my name is Shardai. Today's post is going to be about 8 tips for weight loss and maintenance. I definitely want to give a disclaimer to begin with. By no means am I a fitness guru, am I an expert in any sense of the word. I'm just someone who had gained some weight, and I just want to pass along the tips that I kind of learned as I went through the process of losing the weight as well as keeping the weight off. So, also to kind of give a little bit of back history on myself, I am someone who has came from somewhat of a fit to thin body type for the majority of my life. But around 2013, 2012, I definitely started to gain weight and probably upwards to somewhere around 30 pounds, maybe even 40 pounds of excess weight that I had put on. And this is just pretty much the tips and the things that I learned along the process of losing the weight as well as keeping it off. The first thing I want to talk about is diet. Definitely when it comes to losing weight as well as keeping it off, the number one thing you're going to want to focus on is your diet. You definitely can't cheat it. I'm someone who tried. It doesn't work. So you can just kind of let that go. That whole working out versus eating and things like that, that didn't necessarily work for me. Again, these are just the things that I noticed when I was going through the process. It's something that if you want to try, you can, but I didn't find that if I ate worse, but if I worked out more, they evened each other out. I definitely had to focus on my diet. When it comes to a diet, the biggest thing is you want to be realistic. You don't want to overdo it, especially in the beginning, because you'll find yourself just wanting to binge. If you cut off everything that you enjoy, you're going to go back and you're going to overeat. So it's going to kind of negate all the hard work that you did. So you definitely want to be moderate in making changes to your diet. And that's why I say I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of like crash dieting or doing crazy diets. I believe in doing lifestyle changes. You definitely just want to try to change the way that you're eating. So some of the things that I adapted was first cutting out processed foods. I'm really big on if you're going to change your diet or if you're going to eat healthy per se, you definitely want to eat as natural as possible. So if you can't figure out where the food came from, if you don't know what tree it came off of, how it came out the ground, or a natural place where it comes from, I tend to stay away from those foods. Powders and things that you can't really see growing out of the earth or coming out of something naturally, I particularly don't care for. There's some people who do, and bars and things that you can kind of create. But me personally, I like to stay as natural as possible. So just meat, vegetables, fruits, nuts, things that are natural that you know exactly where it comes from. Those are the things that I definitely encourage eating when it comes to wanting to change your eating habits as well as if you're trying to lose weight. The second thing when it comes to eating, you definitely want to, if you are going to cheat, because I do believe, like I said, in doing it in the most natural way and not starving yourself or doing something so extreme that you hate it. And that's definitely not what you want to be doing, because like I said, then you're just going to go back to what you're originally doing and you'll probably end up overdoing it. So if you are going to cheat, I say cheat as early in the day as possible. So when I was definitely trying to lose weight, or still to this day, what I try to do is if I'm going to eat bad or do something bad, I do it as early in the day as possible. So right when I get up, like if I want a sweet, I try to get it as early in the day as possible. And as my day goes on, I make my diet more and more strict. And if you can, I try to cut off my diet by like 8. So that means after 8 o'clock, I'm no longer eating. If I am eating, I'm trying to eat like something as natural as possible, vegetables, fruits, something as light as possible, because I'm getting ready to go to sleep. The second thing that's also really important when it comes to weight loss would be your workout. Definitely making sure you're focused on what you want to accomplish when it comes to what your new goal is. So with me, the reason I wanted to lean, so because I wanted to lean, I was doing things all wrong. I had started off with weightlifting and doing squats and all types of stuff, and I realized that I was definitely getting bigger, which if that's what your goal is, and that's perfect. But if that's not what your goal is, then you definitely want to look up a workout that is geared towards what your goal is. So with me, because I wanted to lean out, I started doing more cardio, and that's what kind of helped me lean out. So what I do now, and what I did when I was going through the process of losing my weight, I like to do cardio first thing in the morning. It gets my heart pumping, it gets everything going. It's a great way to start your day. It gets you energized. And so that's definitely my tip for when it comes to working out, especially if you want to lean out, doing cardio first thing in the morning. Um, Now, this next tip, I definitely give with a big cautionary. You definitely want to do your research on it. You maybe even want to check with the doctor before you do it, but it is something that I did, so I'm going to tell you about it. I did a cleanse or a fast, you could say, and I definitely did my research before I did it. I went online, I searched, I tried to figure out the best and most healthy way to do it. And what I found is that it can be a good way for you to kind of jumpstart weight loss. And I will say in my case, it did jumpstart my weight loss. Now, what you want to do is definitely hydrate. You want to be drinking plenty of water, especially if you're doing any sort of a cleanser or fast. And you definitely want to do your research on what's good for you. And then another thing you want to remember when you're doing cleanse and fast is that you don't want to have the yo-yo effect. So again, like I said, if you like cut everything out, or if you cut all this stuff out and then you all of a sudden just add it back, your body most likely will rebound, and it might even go even further than where you were before. So you definitely want to be careful. When I came off of my cleanse or my fast, I definitely started off with a very strict diet and slowly added more things as time went on to not like shock my body. So that's something you want to remember as well. Some other key points that you want to remember is just to remain patient. It took me a long time to figure out, number one, that I had gained a whole bunch of weight, how to lose the weight, how to keep it off. So it's definitely a process. And like I said, it's a lifestyle change at the end of the day. So you want to be patient. You want to stay persistent. Keep working your plan that you set for yourself. Consult whoever you can about it. And everyone's different. You also want to keep that in mind. Things that work for me may not work for you. You may have to tweak a couple of things. And then you also want to remain positive, because if you're definitely stressing yourself out, a lot of times that causes people to gain weight as well, or to retain weight. And then you also want to have faith. You just want to believe that if this is something that you want and you put in the hard work for it, that it'll be a reward for you in the end. So those are just some of the tips that I have. Let me make sure I went over all of them with you. So number one is diet. Number two, working out. Number three, cheating, but cheating in the right way. Number four, using cleanse and fast is definitely cautionary, researching it, doing it the right way, being patient, stay persistent, positive attitude, stress-free, and have faith. So those are my 8 tips for weight loss and maintenance. And if you guys have any questions, just leave them for me down at the bottom. You guys have a great day. Be blessed. Bye.